What's your favorite part about growing up in Jersey?
Definitely the summer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now that living out in LA, still love it here, but having like pure seasons of going from this is springtime, this is summertime, this is fall, and this is really cold winter. Like, I still loved all that, so
Right.
I definitely miss that the most.
How long have you been out here?
3 years, coming September, I think.
Do you feel like whenever you go back home that you're not accustomed to the winter anymore? Like, it's like, oh, it's so cold.
Yes, I was in New York in March. It was March, final answer, and it was cold. It was so cold that I said to myself, I'm going to go try to walk like 40 blocks. It's not that cold, still New Jersey, etc.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I got sick.
Did you really?
Yeah, no, I got sick, and my body just didn't take it. And it was cold. Like, it was probably around like 20-something, and it was windy. And then I had shot a music video in Toronto the month before, and that was really cold.
That's like a cold that,
Toronto's
that's
cool,
a different
though.
type of cold. What'd you guys do up there?
Shot the music video for Half Gone.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was so cold, but it was so pretty up there. Yeah, it was great.
What's your favorite place to go on vacation?
I love skiing.
Do you?
Yeah, particularly.
Trying to stick with this cold theme, I see.
I love hate it, I guess. I really like skiing, like back east, like Vermont, because this is gonna sound so weird, but fire burning at night. I don't know why, but the aroma, it just seems to be more nostalgic with Vermont, where I'm just like, I really miss that.
Absolutely.
And it's like small towns, like here's a little like steeple of a church or whatever, and it's just like these tiny little houses. It's really nice.
So
it's
it brings
quaint.
back memories?
Yeah, definitely.
Childhood memories?
Of course, yeah. We went skiing there probably almost every year growing up. Because, it's like a 6-7 hour drive from New Jersey, so.
You
Not too
can't get
bad.
me in a car for 6-7 hours right now.
I
I
love
can't.
driving.
Do you do?
I love it.
Do you just not like flying or what?
No, I like flying. Flying I'm fine with. I just like to make very long road trips out of nothing, so. I went to the Grand Canyon.
From here?
Yeah, I just drove there.
Just you by yourself?
No, I was with my 2 other friends, but I drove the whole way because they didn't have U.S. licenses. And
I literally can't.
I love it.
How long was that drive?
Well, it was supposed to be, I think, like 6 and some change.
Mm-hmm.
But it wound up being like almost a 10-hour excursion because there was the only road to get to the Grand Canyon. I guess a truck had,
Flipped us or
something
like
bad,
that?
yeah, and that just really held us up. Then we slept in the car that night because there were no hotel rooms afterwards.
I feel like that's where, you make those memories for when you tell your kids, later on in life.
18 degrees, that was cold.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, no.
18 degrees.
I learned the hard way.
So let's talk about you. I feel like falling into this career. Did that happen?
I think that's a good definition of it, yeah.
Just
kind of fell into it. So, yeah, music's always been... It's always been around, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
My mom taught my whole family how to play piano. But it was always the thing to occupy myself from, I don't want to do homework, so I'm just going to focus on this. When I was younger, it was forced every day after school, go play it. But when I went away for high school and college, it started becoming the thing where I was like, I just don't want to do work. I'm going to just play some music instead. Then I taught myself the guitar because I was curious.
How'd you teach yourself the guitar?
Not well at first, but I think I got somewhere.
Did you bring up YouTube and learn online?
I think it's because I knew piano, like music theory to some extent.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say, I'm not that crazy with music theory. But I just kind of knew and I would just listen. And then, look up how to play a G major or something and just see where your fingers go. And at first, I just remember the feeling of my fingers couldn't move in that way. And then over time, you just start to get used to it. And then you start to learn variations of it. And then you start to learn to break the structure.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you would kind of get to it. And I'm still always learning. So yeah, when I was in high school, I decided to learn guitar. College, same thing. Music was the distraction, etc. And
I feel like there are other things that you can be distracted with. I don't think music is a bad thing.
No, it was great.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of a gateway to just relax and zone out
Right.
in a dorm room. And yeah, then I just started learning. I wanted to learn how to produce. I did an internship at a label, and I was like, I want to do something with music, but I'm not sure what. Because before that, I worked in finance. And
You did?
Yeah.
What were you doing?
I was...
And were you bored out of your mind?
No, like, it was interesting, but it turns out I just wasn't very good. But I was assisting a managing director at a place that traded these things called exchange-traded funds.
Mm-hmm.
But I was also just... They let me sit on the desk. They would teach me everything, and I really liked it, and I was, like, preparing for that. And then last minute, I was just like, I think I should try music. So I did that. I was interning at a label, and then a producer was like, hey, I need you to stay to get me coffee. And I wound up watching him for the rest of the summer. And that's how I kind of learned how to
produce and stuff like that.
To some extent.
Uh-huh.
And then, obviously, friends and family learning how to produce, too. But a lot of it was on my own, to be honest, because I was away at school learning it after that summer had ended. And then I came back out here again, and, like, one song I made in New York it opened a lot of doors. Even though it never came out, it never got cut by any other artist. That opened a lot of doors. And then by that following New Year, so we're talking winter 2016, I had some publishing offers as a writer. And then one of those meetings turned into, hey, I think you should be an artist. So.
Were you scared?
Of course, but.
Because I feel like you can hide behind words when you're
right.
When you're a writer.
Oh, that was my whole I actually said no the first couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting there and I was like, no, I'd rather be a behind-the-scenes type kid.
I'm good, right.
And it is easier to do that. But, you know, I wasn't having crazy success as a writer, but I was new. I was just like, you know, it's hard to write a pitch song for a pop art because you have to get into their mind and be like, what do you think? Does this describe your personality as an artist? They might make some changes. So I noticed a lot of the songs I was writing were just very personal.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like your writing style is different.
Yeah, it's quirky. Like the actual method of making it?
Yeah, because I read this quote where you said, I try to focus on the tiny specific things I can't forget, things I didn't think anything of at the time, but later become powerful emotional memories, which tells me you have a great memory.
I have a decent memory. Or what happens is, like if it's love related, for example, you think about whatever happened at the time. Let's just say it was like a breakup or something like that. And then 6 months later, you're thinking about that. Your mind's going to make it seem like it was more cinematic. Everything starts to suddenly, you start thinking like The Notebook. You know what I mean by that? Like the movie starts playing in your head and you're like, we were here, we were doing that. And in reality, it's like a phone call of like, hey, we can't do this anymore, this long distance thing. Okay, cool, I get it. Yeah.
It's like your mind embellishes it.
Yeah, of course. Your mind totally embellishes the nostalgia. But a lot of it is still true in the sense that you get these small idea moments where you remember the most random things. And they can turn into cool song titles. Sometimes it doesn't have to be necessarily love-related. My first single, it was just me in a club for the first time and just kind of looking around. That kind of inspired the idea.
Now, do you write it down or do you just like, I'll remember this?
That night, I actually went to the studio after the club with a buddy. And we had we just did a voice memo on the phone. 30 minutes of 4 a.m.
gibberish.
Exactly. But other times, yeah, like there are so many times that I'll just be showering and I'll have my phone next to the shower and then I'll just start singing a melody over and over again. And for some reason, I think that's the greatest melody. And I'll like hop out of the shower. Maybe I'll slip. Maybe I won't. And I grab my phone. I'm like, I need to record this. I can't forget it. I can't forget it. And then if I go to work the next day with some friends, I'll be like, yeah, I had this great melody. And I go to listen to it like in the shower. And I'm just like, what? It doesn't.
Do you sit back and like, this is terrible?
Sometimes. I mean, sometimes I'll make full songs and I'll just, with really close friends where we can be honest enough, we'll just look at each other and go, this is trash. But then we hold it to a higher standard where then it's like, this is really good.
That's pretty legit.
Yeah, it's good when you can like break that zone with your friends who are writers because obviously people put their heart on the sleeve when it comes to writing. So you can't just walk into a room first time and be like, no, I don't like that idea. Like,
right, because it's calling your baby ugly.
Yeah.
When you think about it.
Exactly.
And it's like, no, I worked super hard on this. I feel like you need, like how you say, you need people around you that you trust and know that they won't just tell you anything when it comes down to it.
It's nice when people push you and then you can push them back and frustration can be a good thing sometimes.
Absolutely. Let's. I feel like Sexual Vibes a banger.
I liked it.
Yes.
I enjoyed it.
I feel like it was a sexy song.
Yeah, it was. See, that was actually nerve-wracking in the sense that. So that was the song after the nightclub situation, where I went back. We had this idea, a voice note, and I didn't touch it for like 8 months or something. Maybe it was 6. I forgot. And then one day I like pulled it up, and I was like, "This is really cool," but it was all just parts. So the first thing I tried to figure out was the guitar riff, because my buddy was playing it, and I was like, "That's really cool." It's like very retro. And then after that, I tried to get the chorus idea. We're on a sexual vibe. It's kind of all that was it. And then more gibberish. Then I brought it to my friends, who are just cutthroat with me, and I was like, "Do you think this idea is cool? Also, I need help finishing the production because I'm still, I'm always learning with production." And they were like, "This is really cool." We took the parts that I had like written out or produced out, and then we just put it all together, and it was done pretty quickly. And then it was just fine tuning the production. So, but yeah, I like it. It's got like a nice groove.
It has a great like vibe too.
It's weird. Like it's weirder in the sense that it may not necessarily be like, oh, this is a radio hit, eyes closed, but rather you listen to it and you turn your head and you're like, that's kind of quirky in a cool way. So I was proud of it.
What do you want people to take away from when they listen to your music?
I mean, first and foremost, like, if I'm not talking about things that people understand, why am I writing music? So, there's times when I was younger where I would listen to other people's songs. I remember I listened to a James Blunt song. I didn't even break up with anybody, but it was so sad that when I did finally break up with somebody in my teenage years,
You channeled that
that
song?
song was like, that was my anthem. And then, I'm not saying, I want sad people to relate to my music, but, it could be a happy feeling, or I was at this party, or I was at the beach, wherever. And as long as it can help their memory of nostalgia, I think that's really cool because everyone, we take for granted memory, I feel like. So if you need a soundtrack to your life, and if one of my songs could be it, like, to me, that's pretty awesome.
That sounds good. All right, let me hit you with some would you rather questions. I want to see where your head is. Cool?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Would you rather not to be able to sing again or not be able to write music ever again?
That's a brutal question. I like singing, but I like writing too. I'd flip a coin, honestly. I guess not write.
Really?
Yeah, because I would still get to sing.
Someone else's words?
But art,
True.
And it's like, maybe it's not my baby per se, but if I could be the mouthpiece for someone's who's like just has like this really great idea,
And you can make it come to life.
Yeah.
By singing it.
Because then otherwise, if I'm just, well, first of all, it's a trick question, because if I can only write music but I can't sing it, then how are people going to hear it?
Ooh.
Unless someone else can translate like what I'm thinking.
Right.
That would be hard. I might have just dudded your question.
Yeah, you did. You know what? Just choose writing. Writing's good. And those royalty checks are amazing.
Yeah, well, with time.
Would you rather be stuck in LA traffic forever or experience another earthquake?
I could experience another earthquake, but here's the thing, I like traffic. I like sitting there alone and just kind of listening to music.
Huh. I just can't, I can't deal that there are 4 or 5 lanes and no one's going anywhere.
Back roads, baby. There's always a back road. And that's always fun. You find these accidents. Like, I found this one crazy road off Mulholland. I don't feel like I'm giving away my, trick, but if you're trying to cross over, from West Hollywood to Beverly Hills.
Oh, absolutely. That road, I'm talking about,
Yeah, but it's beautiful. Like,
right.
101, I mean, even so, taking the 101 or PC, if I was stuck on PCH traffic, I wouldn't be mad. The ocean's right there.
Right. But you got places to go, though. What about that?
Yeah, I'll take my time.
I feel you.
Yeah.
All right, so would you rather always have spotty internet service or always losing signal on your phone?
Ooh. I think I'd rather lose signal on my phone.
Didn't have spotty internet?
Yeah.
I remember breaking a phone because I've had spotty internet. It wasn't even the phone's fault.
I'm about to debunk your question, though.
Why?
Because if you have most phones nowadays, so no cell service, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know this because where I live, I have no cell service. But you can do Wi-Fi calling and Wi-Fi texting.
I don't have an Android.
You don't need
I
an
mean,
Android.
I don't have an iPhone. What about that?
An Android will do it too.
We'll do Wi-Fi calling?
I believe so. Don't quote me on it. But most phones can now adapt and utilize Wi-Fi.
We have to ask Twitter on that.
I could be wrong. But also, I could live without making phone calls all the time. And
I feel you.
I like being in nature and secluded. So as long as I have Wi-Fi to,
Connect.
watch cat videos,
On YouTube?
Yeah.
Go down that rabbit hole?
Oh, that's always a fun one. Yeah, I'd do that 100%. No
Okay.
cell service.
Well, I
Wi-Fi.
appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
Of course!